What if I told you that there's a card out there that is as good, maybe even better than the mighty American Express Gold card or the American Express Platinum card, and it is the green card. In this video, I'll go through the details of the green card, why I think it's such a great card, why I got it, and then by the end of this video, you'll see if it's the right fit for you or if the gold or platinum do fit your needs better. Starting off with things that already stand out, it's the 3X on travel, and that applies not only to American Express travel, but also third-party travel platforms. And this is so much better than the gold card where it is 3X, but it's only if you book it directly with American Express or the airline itself. And then the platinum, while it does offer 5X the points, again, it's based on if you're able to book directly with the airline or through American Express travel. So I find that very limiting, especially for most people where we're shopping around for flights, so that flexibility on 3X no matter where you book your flight from is huge and it's hard to beat it. And where the green card really shines is not only do you get 3X on flights in that travel category, but it also applies for like tours, car rentals, vacation rentals like Airbnb. And while we were traveling around the US, we've spent almost $50,000 through Airbnb over the past 2 years. Now imagine if we were getting 3X the points on that, that would be a huge return. But unfortunately, we were putting it on our gold and platinum, which was only 1X the point. Now continuing on with the point multipliers, you also get 3X on transit, which includes trains, Ubers, taxis, buses, tolls, and ferries. And then on top of that, you get 3X on dining worldwide and takeout delivery within the US, and 1X on everything else. And now those are some incredible multipliers, and I love how flexible the green card is, which you don't really find with the gold or the platinum. And as we continue into this video, I'm going to go through more of the benefits, but also explain at the end who I think this card is best for. All right, let's keep going. Now, while you are getting a lot of points with all these multipliers, what are these points actually worth? Let's dig into it. So based off of American Express, you're getting about 0.6 cents per point. So if you take the categories where you're getting those 3X multipliers, you're getting 0.6 cents times 3, so about 1.8 cents per dollar spent, which is the equivalent of about 1.8% if it were a cashback card. Now the 1.8 cents, it's pretty decent, but when you're looking at that these are the premium multipliers, you can get another card that will give you much more than 1.8% back on travel or restaurants. So if my focus was on cashback, then this card definitely isn't the one for you. I think there's just so many better cards out there for cashback specifically. And so since I'm not focused on cashback and I am focusing on collecting points, even once I collect those points, I want to make sure that I'm maximizing them. And so the best way to do that is to transfer them out of American Express and into one of the many travel partners. And the best part, it's actually easier than ever to do that because of Point.me and their partnership, which makes it so easy. And on average, once you're able to transfer those points out, those points become worth a lot more, usually about 2 cents per point. So imagine if you're getting 3X on certain categories, now when you travel or you eat out, it's not just 3X times 0.6, it's 3X times 2, which is about 6 cents per point, which is great value. And you're definitely not, and it gets a lot harder to find a cashback card that gives you 6 cents per point. It's usually 3 or 4, so this is a lot. There's definitely a lot of value here. To put this into perspective, what this actually means from like a redemption point of view is imagine that you want to transfer these points out and use it for a business class flight. So one of my favorite redemptions that I'm really targeting is being able to transfer my points out to ANA, which does a 1-to-1 transfer ratio, and using it to redeem a ANA flight in either business class or first class. For this example, let's pretend we're doing business class. And so you can redeem ANA points from North America to Japan for business class for about 95,000 points round trip. And this is a flight that cost on average about $10,000. So if you take that ratio and look at what your points are worth, in this scenario, they're worth about 10 cents per point, which is incredible value. Now, one thing to note when you're optimizing for point value is, yes, these airlines and these travel partners are going to give you incredible value, but it's going to be really difficult to actually book it. That's the flip side of these incredible values in points. You're going to have to do some digging to find availability where you can actually redeem points for this flight, and oftentimes that means you're either going to be booking really last minute, maybe 2 to 3 weeks before your actual trip, and that too if you're lucky, or you're booking it way in advance at like 12 or 13 months before your actual flight. Now the other option, if you wanted to book this same flight where you want more flexibility in terms of when you can go, and you might want to book something last minute, or you want to book just having more flexibility in general, then in that scenario you're going to be trading off value for redeemability. So it'll be easier to book a flight, but you won't get as much value. So what I mean by that is you could book the same flight, but now it's going to cost you 200,000 to 300,000 points. So you're spending 3 times the more points, and so each point is going to be worth a third. So you're basically looking at about 2 cents per point in that scenario. But even then, if you've got the 3x on points, that's not a bad situation to be in. It's still worth more than doing cash back with the points that you have, or using your points for a statement credit. And that's again why the green card is so great, because let's say you are eating out, or you're traveling, or like me, you're using Airbnb a lot, you can get those 3x the points because there's so many different categories where the green card has multipliers versus the gold card or the platinum. While they might have bigger multipliers, they're very limited and only for certain use cases. Like platinum, it's great if you're booking flights directly with the airline, or the gold card's great if you're grocery shopping a lot because you get 4x the points there. But if you want something that's gonna give you a good amount of points for everything, whether it's using Uber, restaurants, Airbnb, going on tours while you're on vacation in Spain, then the green card gives you 3 times the points in those scenarios, and it's a great way to collect points really quickly. So we've talked about some of the multipliers with this card. We've talked about how to value points from the American Express green card. Now let's take a look at the actual annual fee of the card and if it's worth it. So the green card is actually the cheapest out of the gold and the platinum at $150 a year, and has a 40,000 point bonus welcome offer after you spend $3,000 in the first 6 months. And if you're interested in that offer, definitely check out the link below. It helps the channel out, it helps me out, and I really appreciate it. Now, if you're worried about the annual fee of the green card, there are a few credits that they offer that help offset the cost. Now the main one, and my favorite one, is the $189 credit towards Clear, which basically means you get Clear for free. And if you apply that $189 towards your annual fee, you're basically paying $0 out of pocket for the card. So it's great value. And when you compare it to like the gold or the platinum, while those have a lot of different credits that they offer, like the platinum gives you the entertainment credit, and you also get Uber credits, you get like the Saks Fifth Avenue credit, but it's like all these small ones that add up. And even then you have to like keep track of them. It's a lot of work, and the fee itself for these cards is very expensive. Either you're paying $400 for the gold or $700 for the platinum, and those cards you have to think more about if you're actually getting value, versus the green card I find is a no-brainer. It's $150 and you're like, yeah, let's do it. So who should actually get the American Express green card? Well, I think there's 2 groups of people that should. The first group is if you're new to the travel rewards game, then this is a great card for you because you're only paying $150 out of pocket. So it's a great way to really dip your toes and see if it's something that you're really want to do without spending $400 or $700 on a more premium credit card. And the best part is, even with the green card, you're still getting great multipliers, which really makes it valuable. And if you're traveling infrequently, whether it's like once or twice a year, I think the green card is also great for that, because you're collecting enough points where you can redeem points for those flights. Versus if you got the gold or the platinum, especially the platinum, the value there is really if you're traveling frequently, you want to go to the Centurion Lounge, that's where I think you get a lot of the value. And even then, I'd say unless you're traveling monthly, the cost of the platinum card is almost not worth it. So that's my opinion. And another thing to consider, which I feel like isn't really brought up enough, is yeah, you get access to these lounges, but like what if you're a traveler like me that likes to show up at the airport last minute and you don't really even get the chance to enjoy the lounge fully? But what I like to do is, even though I show up last minute, is I'll still go to the lounge, even if it's for 10-15 minutes just to grab a bite to eat. So it really depends on what kind of person you are. If you like to show up last minute and not really take full advantage of the lounge, maybe you don't need lounge access, or maybe you just like to go for the food, someone like me. So in that case, then it can be worth it. So you just need to figure out what's important to you, and I think that'll really help make that decision for you. So that's the first group of people. The second group of people who I think will really benefit from this card is if you're a dedicated American Express user and you want that second or third card that's gonna kind of fill in your missing categories. So for example, if you got the Platinum, you're already getting 5x the points on travel and on flights. But let's say you want something where you get more points on restaurants, for example, then that's where the green card really benefits. In that scenario, it might make more sense to get the green card versus like the gold card because you've already got the platinum. So different situations like that. Or if you're someone who goes on cruises a lot, or you live in New York and you're always taxiing everywhere or taking an Uber, or if you're like me and you're use Airbnb a lot, then it might make sense to match the green card with like the platinum card. I actually think having the platinum card and the green card might be the best combo for like almost for most people if you're traveling at least like 6 or 7 times a year and you get to take advantage of lounges and the Centurion Lounge, and that might actually be the best combo. Something to think about. So I've got the green, maybe I need to get the platinum next? Maybe. Alright, I'll keep you posted on that one. But regardless, if you're new to the travel credit card game or you're experienced, I think the green card, again, it's the simplicity just gets to me. I love it. As I think about my life, like I don't want to, like as much as I enjoy travel hacking and using credit cards to collect points and travel for free, at the end of the day, I don't want to be someone who has like 20 or 30 credit cards trying to manage, you know, all the different types of points that you have, optimizing all of them, managing payments and payment schedules and annual fees. And I think simplicity is the name of the game, especially there's so many videos and channels out there that focus on the most optimized way to collect points, but I think you need to nail it down to like 2 or 3 cards max. And I think that's the best thing you can do, because at the end of the day, like let's say you collect all these points by having 10 different cards, but if it takes you hours to organize it and figure out what the best optimization is, you spent like, let's say you spend 10 hours and you make like $50 an hour, that's $500 worth of your time that you spent trying to optimize this, and you probably won't even get that much value from your points. You might as well at that point have worked your job overtime, made a few extra $100 and paid for your flights in cash. So you really need to figure out that balance, and I think that's again why I come back to the green card of how simple it is and why I love it so much. And also, I think if you could have just one credit card, one travel credit card, I think the green card is the one to get. I love it when companies like American Express make your cards more valuable, especially in the travel rewards world, where points are constantly being devalued and cards are being downgraded. I'm so grateful that American Express did something like this. It really makes me happy and excited for the future of travel rewards. All right, now let's go into some more detail of why I specifically got the green card. All right, the first one is, so because I have new credit in the US, what was important for me was to be able to get a card that wasn't going to hurt my credit too much. So the one thing that American Express does is on your second card, they usually don't do a hard credit pull, especially if you have an American Express card from a different country. So they almost automatically gave me the green card when I applied for it, and so that really helped me build credit. And again, I wanted a card that was going to be a good well-rounder, especially for my everyday purchases. And that's why I chose the green card. Okay, the second one is that the American Express Gold card and Platinum cards had really high welcome bonuses, which I was really excited for, but they had really high spend requirements as well. Like, I think the gold card required $6,000 of purchases in the first 6 months and the platinum was $8,000, and I just didn't have that amount of spending planned for the next 6 months, so it didn't make sense for me to get those, especially because then I wouldn't be able to take advantage of that welcome bonus. So my goal is, when I do have plans to spend that much, then definitely I probably will get that card, maybe like the platinum. And especially like recently we've had offers of like 250,000 welcome bonus points, which is insane. So if that offer comes back when I'm ready to spend that 8,000, 8 or 10,000 or whatever it is at that time, I will seriously consider it. In fact, I might have already made up my mind, and I think I will absolutely get it if it comes to it. And the last reason is I don't have any travel planned for the next 12 to 18 months. So I didn't want to get all these points up front without having any plans for them, and then those points being devalued and me wasting my time. So I'd rather, once I know that I have a trip coming up that I'm planning for, then I can work backwards to determine how do I get the card that will give me those welcome bonus points so that I can use it towards my trip. You don't want to be collecting points just for the sake of collecting points, and having a purpose behind them is key, especially if you want to maximize your point value. All right, so those are the top reasons why I think you should get the American Express green card, why I got it, and why it's one of my favorite. All right, so those are all the reasons why I like the green card. Let me know in the comments below what's been your favorite thing about the green card and what's your least favorite thing about the green card. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. In the meantime, if you're interested in other videos that I have, definitely check out one of these next.